I was really disappointed when I was 14 years old and discovered that I had the privilege of having premature male pattern baldness. I wasn't very thrilled to discover this because I had dreams of having long, lustrous hair at the time, and indeed I still did grow it out a little bit after that, but it didn't last very long, as you could probably tell. Maybe some of you are also experiencing the same, but it's likely that medical issues, either small ones like mine that just affect you socially, or ones that affect your general life, might get in the way of the things that you want to do. But it's important to focus on the things that you can actually help rather than focus on the things that you cannot. I did everything I could. I went on prescription medications to try and fix the problem. They lasted only so long before the effects really set in. But it's okay now. I've become almost an icon, I think, in some ways with this. I have students going around all the time looking for bald, bearded men, and then they take pictures and show them to me and say, "Hey, you look like that guy." And see, there's an example right over there even, although the eyes are kind of funny. In either case, it's a little thing in the long run. I was very depressed about it at the time. I didn't want to tell anyone. But it turned out okay in the end.
For me, I've learned that disappointment is one of those things that in life helps shape you and helps build you into the person that you can eventually become. When I was in high school, I auditioned for a position on my dance team, and I didn't make it my first year. And from there on, I started learning that every disappointment that you have and that you face, you can learn from. And sometimes those things that happen to you, you can control, and sometimes they're completely out of your control. And they're things that happen in your environment and the circumstances around you. And so, for me, I try and use those circumstances to make me a better person and to really use whatever circumstance I'm in and whatever position I'm in to maximize whatever I want to do with my life. And so I hope that you can gain a little bit of perspective from this as well.
It is always hard to feel the sting of defeat. Throughout my life, I've overcome lots of obstacles, including my mom passing away when I was in high school. And I grew up in West Texas with a grandmother that always stated, "It's time to pull up your big girl panties or your big boy panties. You never quit. You always strive for success." I've had a student, for 4 years she tried to win an art contest, never won until her senior year. And the sweetness of that one victory has brought on a whole career where she is now paid to create artwork for other people. So the key is to, feel the sting a little, let it sink in, but don't let it overtake your life. And stay around positive people, and it will help create a positive influence in your life, and it will create success. Just never give up.
I set a goal to complete a full Ironman race. I trained for over a year to complete this race. I got through the swim without a problem and the bike without a problem, and I started on the run, and my body shut down, and the medic told me that I could not finish, and she pulled me from the race. I've never been more disappointed in my entire life to train that far, to have that many supporters, and to come home and tell them that I didn't finish. I was pretty bummed for a long time after that, and then I decided to set another goal and to sign up for the Austin Marathon, and ended up completing the marathon and actually getting a personal record and running the fastest race I've ever run on one of the toughest courses. One more thing, not only did I finish the Austin Marathon, but I will set a goal of finishing an Ironman. I will hear that man say, "Stephanie Thapar, you are an Ironman."
In high school, I used to play basketball all over the states. In one of my tournament games to go to the finals, in that game, I shot a three-pointer. The guy on the opposite team pushed me in the air, came down, shattered my right ankle really bad. With that shot I made, it went in. The team went to the finals. I had to go home on a plane. But that was one of the disappointments to me in my life because I love basketball so much. But the way I got through it, I never gave up. I kept fighting through it. I still play basketball to this day, and I'm also coaching my girls' basketball team. Right now, we're currently 14-0. So one of the biggest things I could say is, never give up on your dream. If that's something that you love doing, keep fighting through it. Never stop. No matter how hard it gets, just keep going.
Disappointment is something people of all ages are facing. I think especially teenagers right now are facing disappointment academically with grades and seniors trying to get into the college of your choice. I know that when I was a high schooler, I was very hard on myself as far as grades go. And I'd always get down and always be disappointed if I didn't make that A or that GPA. I was always in competition with other students, making sure I was top 10% because I really was aiming to get to A&M. So every time I'd do something and I'd disappoint myself, I always looked for other goals to reach, other ways to get what I needed to. I realized that being disappointed was okay, but it's how you come out of it. It's being positive, staying positive, and it's the perspective you have on what's happening. And I soon realized that holding your head up high, not feeling helpless, not feeling hopeless, not giving up was the way to achieve it. Staying positive made me realize that when one door closes, another one opens.
In my class, I teach my students that life is not fair. And the reason I say that is because life, we have a lot of disappointments and we have a lot of things that we are happy about. The water molecule is a perfect example. It is a polar compound, and that means that it's unevenly shared electrons. That means somebody gets the electron a lot more than the other. So in life, some things that happen, you're going to be disappointed in, but you got to look to the future. That disappointment may be the greatest reward in the future. The other thing I'd like to share with you is don't let anybody ever steal your joy. You have control of your happiness. And I know that a lot of my seniors, they're disappointed because they didn't get into Harvard, or they didn't get into UT or A&M. And I always tell my students when that's meant to, that was actually meant to happen. And that you've got a place, in that place you're going to find your happiness.
One of the first times that I actually dealt with disappointment was when I was in high school. I was on the speech and debate team. I was really excited. In my sophomore year, my goal was to qualify for state. And I didn't qualify. And I didn't think much of it. And then my junior year rolled around and I decided I'm going to set that same goal. I'm going to qualify for state. And unfortunately, I didn't qualify for state. And at that point, that's when I really started feeling sad and disappointed. And I started thinking that maybe there was something wrong with me. And maybe I didn't belong on the speech and debate team. So I talked to my friends and my family about my concerns. And they told me to keep staying focused. And if you don't believe in yourself, then how can you expect anybody else to? And that's when I made the choice to motivate my sadness and my disappointment, motivate myself to work harder and to succeed. So I started really practicing with different people. I stopped relying on just my natural public speaking abilities, and I really pushed myself. In my senior year, that's when I finally qualified for state. And it wasn't that I was excited because I achieved my goal. I was more excited because I learned something about myself. I learned that I like a good challenge. So now when I'm faced with a disappointing thing or I'm sad about something, I decide to treat it like another challenge, one that I know I can conquer.